What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 70 of Radiovania, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. Coming back from a cushy sabbatical, John Swansong Parker.
I'm back from behind enemy lines of summer camp.
Learning the youth of our generation.
Yes, shaping them to be like me.
Yeah.
Which is a scary thought. No, but it was
Playing
good.
Last of Us.
Last of Us themed summer camp.
Last of Us now.
Summer.
Rocks and minerals later.
No, it was a really good summer. Thanks to my team, including usual suspects like Grayson.
We got to get Grayson on the show sometime.
Definitely.
Do you think he would be
You got to bring
willing?
up something that he would be willing to talk about, though. Which there's a couple of things here and there.
All right.
So
We'll start building that list.
But yeah, no, it's just been really busy. We had 180 kids come through the past 3 weeks. We sold out all 3 weeks of our summer camp.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Okay.
But I'm glad it's over. It went really well. Now we just gotta break it all down and get ready for the school year.
Yep.
I'm in town. Wanted to stop by. It's been a while since we did a show.
And here we are.
Yeah. Connor was texting about when the last one was gonna get posted a couple times. He's very anxious. So
Do we have fan
our
mail?
number one fan, he said that he had fan mail, but it was the one that we talked about on the last episode.
Did we talk about it on the last
Pretty
show?
sure, about Cap being played, the older Cap being played by Chris
That's
Evans.
right. We did talk about that, which
I was really mad about.
Am I still in beer debt? Are you still in beer debt? Because I'm
You
pretty
gotta
sure
come
I was
to,
right.
you
right?
gotta, well, yeah, I guess, but you gotta come to, you gotta come to Chicago
salty
if
about
you
it
want
at all.
that drink.
That's true. I'm gonna try my best. Yeah, that's a big what if. As if we do a drunken
What if?
episode
That's a
in
good
Chicago.
lead. That's a nice little setup to a news story.
Yeah. If you've never listened to an episode of the show, you're jumping in on a good one, because basically it's like the first episode of a sitcom when it starts in the fall and they're basically like, what did you do over the summer? That's basically what we're about to do, is talk about everything in the last few months that we haven't really gotten a chance to talk about. So SDCC, Comic-Con news, we got movies that we've seen, books we've read, games we've been playing, all the hot shit that you want to hear us talk about, and we're going to try and crunch it in a reasonable amount of time, and it's going to be a good show. Got a lot of thoughts on this stuff, and I'm curious to hear all your opinions.
A big old content deuce.
Yeah,
so
big old... Strap yourselves in.
get your Pepto-Bismol ready. It's time.
So, John, what have you been up to? What have you been watching? What have you seen? I don't know if there's a good way to just kind of jump into this stuff. Maybe
Just dive in with my socks on.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, I mean, like I had mentioned, it's been a very busy summer. I'm sure it has been for you as well.
Yes, sir.
So I've seen a lot of things. I think we haven't seen each other or recorded a show since before July 4th, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a full month's worth of content, month and a half. So the only movies I've seen since the last time have been Spider-Man: Far From Home and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Which are the two movies I have seen as well.
All right, yeah, you have good taste. And then besides that, I've just been trying to keep up with the weekly comic book readings.
Yeah.
I have not played any new games. I've been revisiting older games. And in regards to television, I have started watching a new show. I started watching The Boys on Amazon, which is based off of the Dynamite comic series. It's very good.
Have you read the comic series?
I have not.
Okay.
So it's interesting because it's leaving a lot of room for surprise.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if after I finish this season, I'm like really, really wanting to read it. But there's about 60 issues already. So I think if I read it, that would take me through the next couple seasons of the show.
Because you kind of want to still have those surprises.
Yeah, so I'm in a state of mind where it's like, do I want to be the comic fan or the comic
Sure.
influenced fan? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Stars Carl Urban, Dennis
You
Quaid.
say could play a good Sully in the Uncharted movie.
Yeah, definitely. Dennis Quaid's kid is in it. I can't remember the actress's name, but she is the romantic interest of Daniel-san in The Karate Kid.
Oh.
You know that actress?
No, I mean, I bet if I saw her face...
I'm going to look her up real quick. riff for me.
You said vent?
Vent. Go ahead and vent for me.
Yeah, dude, I'm just having so many problems.
Yeah. But dude, I had a big crush on her when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Watching some of those old 80s movies, because she's also in Back to the Future.
Okay.
She plays Jennifer in the sequels, not in the first one. But she's still very hot.
Still got it?
She still got it.
Still got it. Yeah, so same for me as John here. Not been playing a lot of new stuff for video games. I played. I finally got
Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue.
Sorry, that's this girl.
Okay.
Yeah, you know her. You've seen her.
Definitely seen her.
Yep.
Yeah, finally got around to playing Guacamelee 2. That's really the only new video game that I've been playing. Booted up Overwatch, been playing the Uncharted collection a little bit, but if you like the first Guacamelee, you should jump into the second one. It's a cool Metroidvania style beat 'em up, very funny, good writing. But yeah, other than that, there's no real big games coming out until Borderlands 3 next month, which is the first one of the holiday. That's like starts the onslaught of video games for the latter half of 2019, where it's like Borderlands, Death Stranding, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon, all these big games that are going to be coming out that it's like, God have mercy on my wallet. So
yeah, I was gonna buy a Switch, and then I found out about Labor Day, and I was like, I can't, sorry. So I'm gonna keep putting that off.
Yeah,
I'll get it one day. But
well,
the game from E3 that was revealed that really made me want to get one was Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah.
3. Yeah,
it looks really, really good.
Yeah, I love those games, and I was like, oh, I want to play it so bad.
Well, you got time.
Another console Luigi's Mansion, I think, will be a lot better than the second installment. Not that the second installment isn't as fun, but it's just not
it's
quite
more
as
like
enjoyable.
a 1.5,
Sure.
not like a 2. This will be a full-fledged $60 game, you know. So
Yeah.
but yeah, in terms of TV, I'm sure we'll talk about Stranger Things, and then
I watched that too.
Yeah, and then Once
about
Upon a Time in Hollywood and Spider-Man. I'm racking my brains to try and think if there's any other movie I saw in that time, but I think that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I'm sure when we do comic book shop talk,
You haven't seen Hobbs and Shaw?
No, I have
Fast
not
and
seen
Furious
Hobbs and Shaw.
presents Hobbs and Shaw.
I haven't seen a Fast and Furious movie since the reboot one.
I have only
Like Fast
seen
and Furious or whatever they call it.
one Fast and Furious movie.
And which one's that?
The first one.
Got family.
The
Part of
2000,
the family.
2000 and whatever classic Catholic.
You know, the 2002 Catholic film.
I don't got friends. I got family.
Dude, Vin Diesel, what a monster.
Dude, I like Diesel.
Yeah, me too. So,
Vin Diesel is the thing. Throwing it out there. Get it. Make it happen, Marvel.
yeah. That would be cool, except for he's already Groot. Do you think he can do both?
Yeah.
Still voice Groot, but still also be the thing?
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're going to go young with Fantastic Four.
They should have done David Harbour, but they already cast him in the Black Widow movie, so they messed up there.
They did mess up.
He would have been a great Ben Grimm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do with... We'll talk about the Black Widow movie here in a second.
You know who I want to be Johnny Storm, though, really, really badly?
Who?
The kid who plays Steve Harrington.
That could be good.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all.
If he's like Sue Storm's kid brother, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to be in the comics. They just like let him keep his hairstyle, and
Yeah.
it's just like when he flames on, it's like flaming Farrah Fawcett hair. Oh, that'd be metal.
That would be metal. Yeah, so I guess we jump into the news and then talk about the different things, or should we just go ahead and do like thing by thing, like the big three?
Well, what do you mean by the big three? Like the big three events?
The big three, like entertainment things. So that would be Far From Home, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Stranger Things.
Okay. Why don't we do it in order that it came out with? So let's start with Spider-Man.
Okay.
And then Stranger Things, do a TV break. And then Once Upon a Time.
I like it.
Yeah?
All right,
You like
review
this?
time, baby.
I thought about that really hard. I was like, how do we do this?
How do we...
The way they came out. Let's go.
Beautiful mind, like numbers are popping up behind you.
All right, Spider-Man, Far From Home.
Far From Home.
Spoilers. It's been out for 2 months now.
Yeah, if
right?
you haven't seen it...
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, go watch it. I mean, it made $1 billion, so mostly everyone has seen that movie.
Yeah, and that's a pivotal thing because in order for it to stay in the Marvel camp, it had to make $1 billion. Did you read that?
Well, that was all speculation. There wasn't like.
I think that's true. I think it
makes sense, but at the same
I bet you
time,
after Venom, they were like, if Far From Home doesn't make $1 billion, we take over because clearly we can still make enough money without
Marvel's license.
Yeah, and Marvel was like, hold my beer.
I mean, did anyone doubt?
They called J.K. Simmons, and J.K. Simmons was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, I mean, it's dumb to assume that these movies are the big events, and they've figured out the best way to space them out time-wise between releases to make sure that you get all ears. Like, by the time Spider-Man was out, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for another Marvel movie. Even after Endgame, I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Let me sit down in the theater with popcorn and my soda, and you see the credits come up.
I'm sure that a large chunk of the $1 billion did play into the fact that it is the follow-up directly to Endgame that helps out significantly.
And a lot of that was in the marketing.
As a Spider-Man movie, I think it still is very, very strong.
I think so too.
What did you like? What did you not like? And then we'll do some major plot things and how it affects the Phase 4 and 5.
Yeah,
of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Pros, I thought a very compelling and interesting villain.
Mysterio.
Utilized
played
very
by
well.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yes.
One of America's greatest actors.
Yes. One of my personal favorites.
Brokeback Mountain, baby.
Yeah, buddy. I mean, Brokeback, Donnie Darko. Jake Gyllenhaal's had a...
Prince of Persia.
Yeah. I have that on Blu-ray. Jake,
no, you don't.
I seriously do.
Oh, my goodness.
That movie's not bad. It's goofy, but it's not bad.
Oh, no. It's like, I mean...
I
would put that movie in like the same camp as like The Mummy Returns, National Treasure 2, like all that stuff.
Yeah, it's campy and schlocky, but it's like
very
entertaining.
schlocky.
Yeah, Ben Kingsley's in that movie too, so it's like, how the fuck did that movie happen?
Who's the women in that movie?
Botticelli, Andrea something or whatever.
She's in that movie.
The
Mummy.
So. I thought that.
It's that English girl that was in like every movie in 2009 and 10 because she was in the Bond movie and that movie.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about?
I do know who you're talking about.
All right,
Can't place
moving on.
Yeah, that was a divert. How we get from Spider-Man to Prince of Persia?
Spider-Man.
I thought Far From Home is incredible.
Okay.
Very fun. A really great Spider-Man movie with lots of heart and lots of interesting and new techniques to showcase Spider-Man in. Like, I thought that the the augmented reality aspect of it was incredibly strong and a very cool visual
It's a good way to use a hokey character from the 60s in a modern spin.
Yeah.
Using all the drones is actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah, it was terrifying and a really cool visual effect that didn't look bad. Like, it's creepy and kind of weird, but that one of my favorite Marvel, like if we should do a like top 10 Marvel moments podcast sometime and talk about like what are your definitive moments from the different movies. The moment of the Spider-Man v Mysterio for the first time, like when he goes with Nick Fury to the construction site, that whole psychedelic trip basically that he puts him through is like, it's just an awesome moment. Like I would rewatch that again just for that scene because it's different. It's very different than anything we've seen in the MCU. So I really dug that aspect of it. Also, J.K. Simmons, I clapped and cheered so hard that my girlfriend had to tell me to please quiet down because I was...
Did you think that was going to happen?
Yes, kind of. So
before we talked... before the movie.
Well, you had texted me and you were like, there was literally one moment that I yelled out cheering. Yeah. And so...
You were like, what could he possibly be that excited about?
Well, I was like, that's not out of the ordinary for a Marvel movie. There's been moments in every movie where, like... there's been moments where John and I have like been like, oh yeah, here we go, baby. Sure. But it came to the end of the movie, like before the credits scene, like the post credits scene, where there was like, I was like, there hasn't been a moment yet where I'm like freaking out in joy. And so I was like, I bet I know what's coming. And so my heart started racing and my stomach started getting butterflies. And when it happened, it was unbelievable. Kudos to them.
Well, I went to Fatheads like a week before the movie came out, and a friend that I would play X-Wing with, we were talking about it because we were both really excited for the movie. And I was like, I bet you that in the end credit scenes they bring back J.K. Simmons. I was like, that's the perfect stamp to like Spidey is back in full force. We brought back the one character that we haven't done yet, with the exception of Uncle Ben. But
yeah.
I was like, in a world where they're not going to have Iron Man in the Spider-Man movies anymore, I think they need to bring something in like that. I was like, and I'm sure they'll bring him back. And then like he saw it before I did. And then I saw it, and I was like, dude, called it. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, everyone went nuts. I was like, that was the best possible thing they could have done.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
It's on par with trying to recast Mufasa. You know what I mean? It's like, it's impossible.
So now the hope is that it wasn't just a cameo, because they've not put out anything specifically like news articles or announcements from Marvel saying that this is going to be, he's back.
He's certainly not playing Jim Gordon anymore, so.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
The thing that we have to talk about next is we don't know when the next Spider-Man movie is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could very well be in there as a full cast member. They just haven't worked out a contract yet because they have who knows how much time.
Yeah.
But they better start making that movie soon, because those kids aren't going to look like they're in high school forever, and they still have his senior year of high school to do.
They could very well do like a just straight into college sort of thing. I know that it would throw off the time continuity thing, but
they'll do his senior year for sure.
I mean, they've released we'll talk about with Phase 4 or whatever. There's not going to be a Spider-Man movie at least until 2022 or 2023. So that's a long time for Tom Holland and his buds to grow up. So I think that it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to do a time jump.
So my pros of the movie, I think it's funnier than Homecoming. I think it's really funny. Because I like the aspect of the road trip, if you will. The school trip going to different countries. I think that's really funny. I was dying laughing with the beginning when they talk about how they call the snap the blip, and they have the school footage of everyone disappearing during the band concert, and then they come back in the middle of the basketball game. I was like, and then when they're on the plane and his teacher's like, my wife,
that's the best joke. That's the best joke in the whole.
He's movie. Like, she had a funeral and everything, but really she was just sleeping with a guy that we go hiking with. I was like, this is so funny that they were just like the most traumatic thing of 2018. They made probably the funniest thing of 2019.
And that teacher's name is the actor that plays him is like Martin Starr or something like that, right? Do they say the name of that teacher? It's like Mr.
Yeah, I just can't remember.
It's like Mr. But it's not like a famous Spider-Man.
I don't think so.
Okay,
he's probably had a couple appearances here and there. They don't just usually make up character names like that. JB Smoove is really funny.
He's funny, but I didn't really find him like hilarious.
He's like
I thought
my professional opinion as a scientist, witches.
Yeah. I like Martin Starr. I think Martin Starr is funnier than Smoove.
He is, but I think that the combination of the two of them is hilarious.
Yeah, it was good.
Because you always have the teacher and then the one that's also in the same realm that's cooler. Let's see what else. I like Ned and Betty.
Yeah,
for the trip, you know what I mean? That's really
good
funny.
Play on like the high school relationship.
But the thing that I really like a lot about this one is they actually have MJ as a character. She's in Homecoming, but she's not really used in Homecoming because he's interested in Liz.
Yeah.
And that's
she's
important
supposed to be like a reveal.
Right,
so.
and that's important for that movie because as we know that the Vulture is Liz's dad. So like that relationship is important to build up in that movie.
Yeah.
But I like this one much better. I like how simple the plot is that he's on a trip and he's just trying to get with this girl, you know what I mean? So like comedy ensues. The best thing that's happened in a movie theater in a long time, with the exception of something that we might talk about pretty soon.
Yeah.
We were watching Homecoming. It's me and Grayson and our friends Dane and Vinny that we work with too. We all went to the midnight premiere. And this guy is sitting in front of us. And it's the scene when they do a pit stop and Fury sends somebody to give Spider-Man like his suit, right? And she's like having him change, and so he drops his pants, and then Brad Davis comes in and like takes a picture and like goes out, and Peter's like freaking out, and this guy just screams in front of us. He's just like, fuck Brad, and we were just like, it was the funniest thing.
That's amazing.
So that's like in my like vernacular vocabulary. It's just be like when someone makes me mad, I'm just like, fuck Brad, man.
Fuck Brad.
It's just really funny. Yeah,
that's good.
But I would also jump off of what you said too. Mysterio, I think, was really utilized well.
Yes.
Unanswerable questions. Do you think he's dead?
No, he's alive.
I think he's alive.
Because they're building up for Sinister Six.
I think he's alive too. I think
that's going to be a big reveal for the Sinister Six trailer. Is that it's going to be like he's going to be the one. He's going to be the stinger, and it's going to be Jake Gyllenhaal, because Jake Gyllenhaal is such a great actor, and they wouldn't be featuring him so much in like I don't know if you followed like the media blitz coverage from like Far From Home, but he's like in everything.
Yeah, him and Tom Holland were
they're like
a trip together.
The media is putting emphasis on Tom Holland and Jake Gyllenhaal's like relationship outside of the movie, because apparently they have really good chemistry, but like they also like connected with each other and like found like this like mentor sort of relationship like while filming the movie. Like Tom Holland was saying that he really looked up to Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor.
It helps for the story.
It does, yeah. And so like I don't think they'd be putting that much emphasis on that relationship if they didn't have plans for Jake Gyllenhaal to stick around for more films. So, and I think it would be a waste to use him as a one and done, because, God, he's just so good. Like the switch from him being this like stoic, like almost parental figure to this like maniacal actor gone crazy is really just it's super special. The one thing that most people have been saying about the movie that could have made it better is that because I knew that Mysterio was a bad guy, and I think a lot of comic book fans knew that Mysterio was a bad guy.
Yeah,
I think it would have been
an actor.
Yeah, I think it would have been smart for them to reach into like the way back canon of Marvel and find like a superhero that was actually a good guy and have him be
Mysterio, but he's like impersonating him.
And so we don't know Mysterio is in the movie until he does the flip, and then he becomes Mysterio.
Yeah.
Because like I was totally expecting the turn, and so it didn't have it wasn't like a Vulture moment. I wasn't expecting the Vulture moment, and I think that one aspect of it is why I think it could have been better as like a total secret that it wasn't Mysterio. But I'm not a writer.
That's all right. Yeah, I'm sure they tossed in like ideas like that, but I think just for the casual Marvel cinematic fan, that might be really tricky.
Maybe. But the movie is sitting at a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Okay.
95% audience score, which is stupid high.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
What would you put this on the patented Radiovanialand
like an
20-point scale?
8.5.
8.5?
8.5. I've only seen it once. So.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I mean, I would go 8.5.
Yeah.
I think
that's pretty fair. It's utterly rewatchable.
Yeah, it's very rewatchable. It's fun. It's engaging. It's emotional, full of a lot of heart, and great performances all around. Like, I usually hate kid actors, but these kids are just in the right range where they're funny. Like, Ned being in a 40-year-old committed relationship is like, it doesn't come across as cheesy. It like actually is fun. Yeah. And it works.
My favorite scenes, I really like the Peter Tingle.
Yeah.
At the end when he's fighting Mysterio, to kind of see how the spider sense works was really cool.
Yeah.
With him fighting all those drones. So that really stands out. And what was the other one that it just slipped away from me? But when he's on the Stark jet with Happy.
Yeah.
And he has to make his own Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, I love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, and he's like, I got the music. He's like, I love Led Zeppelin. But just like seeing him like stick his hand in the fake virtual and like move it around.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really cool.
It was rad. Yeah.
And you could tell that Jon Favreau is just like he buys into that part, I think, with going off of Endgame and this, like having two really emotional scenes with Happy is just like, dude, like that guy's cashing in.
Yeah,
Disney likes keeping him around, that's for sure.
Well,
the year of the Favs, we got Endgame, Far From Home, Lion King, and The Mandalorian all come out in 2019. So Favreau's coming up big.
Keep him busy. Yeah.
So before we move on, though,
okay,
do you have it ranked anywhere?
Oh, in my Marvel ranking?
Yeah. Have you updated it?
I'm looking at my ranking right now.
Okay. I will pull up mine as well.
If I had to place it somewhere, I would say it might. Honestly, it's like neck and neck because I have here's my top 10. Infinity War, Endgame, in order from best to worst. Or in order from least, you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Guardians, Ragnarok, Avengers, Winter Soldier, First Avenger, and then I have Spider-Man Homecoming at number 8, and then Guardians 2 at number 9. And so I think maybe I'd put it just a skosh above Spider-Man Homecoming, but below First Avenger. I think I still like Captain America more as a hero. Like, I like Chris Evans' portrayal of the character, and I like the period piece aspect of First Avenger.
Okay.
So I think my ranking as of now is that it Far From Home is now number 8 in my list.
Okay.
With an 8.5 rating.
All right, so this is what I have. My top 4 is mostly well, I'll go through my top 7 just so we don't have to dive into everything.
Sure.
But it's mostly remain unchanged. So it's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, Thor Ragnarok, Iron Man, Captain America the Winter Soldier. Number 5 is Avengers Infinity War. So my top 5 has not changed since this year came out. And then number 6, I have Far From Home. And 7, I have Endgame.
Wow, you like Far From Home more than Endgame.
Yeah, I do.
That's
I can
crazy.
see myself rewatching it more than Endgame, so I have it up there.
I don't know, man. Endgame just came out on digital yesterday, and it's been on my mind, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're both really good.
Yeah.
They're both in the top 10, so it's not like I think they're trash movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can just see myself rewatching Far From Home a little bit more.
Gotcha. All right. So that's
Spider-Man. We spent a lot of time on that. So.
Yeah, we did spend way too much time on Spider-Man, so maybe we'll have to do the next few a little bit quicker.
All right.
TV, right? Do we need to do Stranger Things? So
Stranger Things Season 3.
Stranger Things Season 3 released on
July 4th.
July 4th. It's 8 episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
they're like, we're sorry we did 9. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Here's 8.
If you are all curious, you folks out there listening, and if you want to hear my very detailed 3-hour-long impressions about Stranger Things Season 3, I was a guest on a friend of mine's podcast called Queen City Podcast. They operate here in Cincinnati, and we did an entire Stranger Things episode. It was me and a couple other guys, and we broke down every character, every episode. We did very in-depth, so we'll give surface-level stuff here in our,
Yeah, we did the quick and dirty over
quick
here.
and dirty. One of these days...
Get in, get out.
Next year, in a couple of years when the final season comes out, because they've said that they want to do 4 seasons. Once the final season comes out, we might have to do like a Stranger Things cast, just in general. How this show has evolved and changed and grown.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
But yeah, John, what did you think
Crossover.
of the 3rd season of the Netflix series?
Enjoyed it very much. I liked it better than Season 2.
Same.
I don't like it better than Season 1. I like the new character. There's just one new character, right? Maybe 2.
There's a couple.
So Robin's new. And
Robin's new, Alexi's new, and...
who else?
Erica has a more pronounced role in this season. She's not new, but she definitely has a more...
Who's Erica?
You can't spell America without Erica.
Oh, yeah.
Lucas's sister.
Okay, yeah. So those are like the 3 like newer introductions, right? Where they have a pivotal role. So I like Robin quite a bit.
Robin's
was
awesome.
Great.
Uma Thurman's daughter.
Yeah.
Who is also in... Yeah.
Well, okay, that makes sense that she's in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it's a very strong nostalgia piece as usual, right? I was left with a couple of like, moments as well as like this is really great kind of stuff too. So, what about you?
It was my favorite season.
Really?
Yes, okay. I think Stranger Things 3 is the best. One of my biggest points about this season was that. Sometimes budget makes a difference, a big difference.
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot.
They got so much more money this season, and you can tell from the get-go, like, the show looks better. Mm-hmm. It's the best directed the show has been. Like, I felt like this season 1 is great, and it's nostalgic for me in the fact that it's a nostalgic show, but it's also nostalgic for me because that show came out, like, when I was in college, that first season.
Yeah, it was like 2014.
It was a cultural phenomenon, and people talked about it, and people loved it, and people still love it, still talk about it. And it was new. Like, I discovered it. It wasn't like I just watched it randomly and then I was like, this show's amazing.
It's like a lightning in a bottle.
It was, yeah.
For sure.
So that
doesn't mean
special.
it can't be topped. But.
Yes. And I think that season 3, it looks better. It's directed better. The writing is better. A lot of the characters are more fleshed out and developed. I love. There's a couple of the main characters that are given even more to do this season, and they really flesh out who those characters are, how they play into this world. And I really love a lot of the themes of this season too. Like, it really there's an emotional weight for a lot of the characters, and some characters that you absolutely, it's the Steve syndrome. I don't know how the Duffer Brothers do it, but they turn characters that you hate into characters that you love, and they make them complex and interesting, and you root for them. And what they were able to do with characters like Steve and with Billy and trying to not get super spoilery, but it's just incredible to me. And I loved all the how they made Hawkins seem even more like, they made the town seem even more fleshed out with Carrie Elwes as the mayor, and like
I liked that quite a bit.
Yeah, the whole fair,
the Hopper story arc with Mrs. Byers and all those characters. I like that a lot. I really like the Scoops Ahoy crew.
Yes.
It's like there's like three to four different tracks. Because Nancy and Jonathan usually do their own thing for the first like couple episodes, and then they meet up with everybody.
They're the horror actors. Yeah, they're like
so
the ones that get caught.
You got them. They're doing like the Friday or the 13th kind of trek. You know what I mean, or something like that. And then you got the D&D kids. Then you have the teenagers hanging out with other kids that work at the ice cream shop, and then you have the adults, right? Yeah. So they usually are all culminating to one point, which I like that setup, right? So this season had a really cool, like 4 good storylines, whereas like season 2 is like they had some kind of split up a little bit, and I didn't like the episode where 11 was off by herself.
Worst episode of the series.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe one of the worst episodes of television.
They handled this split up very well and joining together. Like I said, it was really great. I'm just like, maybe you can explain it more to me. Are we allowed to do spoilers? Yeah,
spoilers for the next few minutes. We're not going to spend too much time.
Like, I just felt kind of like, I guess it was sudden for me was because Billy was introduced in season 2, and he didn't have a whole lot to do in season 2 besides kind of be like a minor antagonist. And then in this season, he's a major antagonist, but he is still a pawn of the Mind Flayer. Yeah. And I felt like him already being gone from the show, if he is really gone from the show, was just kind of like, it's just really quick. And I'm not sure, maybe I need to rewatch 2 and 3, like the whole series combined, to really appreciate it. But it just felt like kind of a bummer that they didn't get to use him as his real character for much of the show, because for most of this season he's, possessed and creepy and stuff like that. And I feel like that actor is really charismatic and awesome.
He is, yeah. I like that actor a lot. I would argue that him being possessed by the Mind Flayer is simply it's kind of like the Venom suit with Spider-Man, or the symbiote suit, where it's like it enhances the negative aspects of his personality. I think that he was inherently a fucked up kid and became this gross, twisted caricature, like the bad boy, the 80s bad boy. Yeah. Long hair, works at the pool, tries to fuck.
Sleep the leg Johnny.
Yeah. And so the turn for me was all emotional, psychological stuff. It was the 11 going back through his past and seeing all that stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff was great.
And so, like,
he's definitely a big emotional pull of this season. Yeah. It just felt like him not being able to be around for the last season is going to be kind of a bummer.
I think his weight will be felt.
Sure, definitely. Especially like Max and whatnot.
Max is one of my big pros of the season. I think that that actress is awesome. She's great, yeah. And she's awesome. So fun to watch. She's so charismatic. And she's a perfect foil for 11 this season. Like, I'm not sure if they knew what to do with her the second season.
Because 11 wasn't there.
Yeah. But it works better this season because it's crazy. They take the time to build these characters up. Even though the second season it's got some whatever moments, there's still an introduction of a lot of these characters that I think you have to stick around for the third season to get their payoff. And it works.
Yeah, definitely.
It works.
All right, what about...
The one thing... What were we gonna say?
The end.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about before we move on. It's
awful. It's so sad.
Yeah, so what I want to say is that, and again, you can go listen to the Queen City show if you want to hear my very detailed rant about this. But my biggest con of this season is that I hated Hopper for the first half.
Really?
I hated the direction they took him.
Okay.
Because he's more pissed. They made him more pissed off.
He's pandering after a woman.
Yeah, he's lying to get the affection of Joyce. He's treating Mike like shit. He's treating Eleven like shit, being overprotective for no good reason. It felt like it just happened on a dime. I get that he's a dad, but it doesn't matter. Like,
that's what happens.
I know, but it doesn't. But for a character that we had seen be so easygoing and level-headed, even though he could get angry, he was still logical. I felt like for the first half of the season, he's completely illogical, drinking heavily, driving drunk, being a dick, like almost kicking the shit out of Mike, lying to everybody. So his death had no emotional weight for me.
Really?
When he died, I was like, well, he's obviously still alive because they haven't paid him off yet.
Yeah, that's true.
And so when the emotional stuff is Eleven and Joyce reacting to his death and the letter.
Definitely.
That's emotional. But his death in of itself, I was like sitting there, I'm like, I should be emotional, but I know that he's still fucking alive. So that was like my biggest con of the entire season, is that I just didn't feel like Hopper got a good payoff. But then again, it's the Duffer Brothers. They've shown that they can pay off these characters later down the road. Yeah. So I know that he's going to have his redemption.
This is a speed bump in his character.
Exactly.
Arc, you know what I mean? And like, he's very clearly coming back, but that still didn't take away what I thought was the emotional conclusion to the series, or to the season, definitely. Was, with the letter and them moving and like all that stuff is just like a real like empire kind of moment. You know what I mean? We're like, this is where we're at after all we've come.
That weight is absolutely still there, and it's the perfect setup for a fourth season. Like a more somber, maybe quieter season where it's kind of back to the roots of season one, pay off all these characters. It's going to be great. Like I think that this is the climactic season. Like you're not going to get a fucking monster smashing through the glass in the ceiling of a mall. That's not going to be the fourth season. It's going to be, I think it's going to be much more scaled back.
It's just one Demogorgon.
Yeah, or it's going to be like, it's going to be something smaller. So, season 3 is rated at 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is Stranger Things, which is crazy to me. I mean, there's more critics out there, so you have more disparity between positive and negatives. But season 2 is rated 94. And season 1 is 96.
I agree with season 1. I think season 3 should either be matched with season 1, if not, like, a little higher.
Yeah. I think season 2's rating at 94% is way too high.
I'd do, like, season 2 at, like, 80.
Yeah, I'd give season 2, like, a 7.5, maybe an 8.
Yeah.
It's bloated and overstuffed and doesn't work very well.
The one thing that I like about season 2 is the fact that it's set around Halloween.
Yes.
And I loved that coming out around Halloween. It's one of my favorite holidays. And I like the 80s Halloween nostalgia with people's costumes and the movies and stuff and Ghostbusters. But that's about it.
Stranger Things season 3 on the Radiovania patent 20-point scale. Where would you put it? As a whole season. I know it's tricky to do with television.
It is really hard to do as a whole season. Probably like a 9.
I'd give it a 9.5.
Okay.
I think it's pretty close to perfect. There's just a few things that I didn't like.
Yeah.
Mainly Hopper.
I think the 8 episodes is definitely their sweet spot in order to progress something along and not have it feel bloated.
Yeah. So Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's the last thing we have to talk about before we breeze through the news.
Breeze on through it. Right.
So no spoilers.
Because it just came out. Okay.
We'll do a small spoiler section where we'll tell you to skip ahead a couple minutes.
Okay.
But
you first.
Me first?
Yeah, you're the bad cop, so you go first.
Yeah, I'm bad cop.
And then I'll go.
I walked out of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood not really enjoying it very much. Like, I think that the ending of the movie elevates a lot of the movie to me. But for the first 2 hours, I wasn't really jiving with it. And I couldn't really figure out why in the theater. I was like, why am I not enjoying this? What is about this movie that I'm not enjoying?
You're a cranky old man.
But I think it's just because there's not enough of a plot for me personally. Like, knowing how Django is the top of Quentin Tarantino's game, in my opinion. And that movie is just so perfect in terms of having an emotionally investing story that
You better listen to your boss, white man.
you want to know how that story resolves. In Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I really quickly realized, I was like, so it really is just Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's really just a slice of life in 1979 Hollywood. Okay, I guess this is where we are, and I didn't really realize that was what the movie. Like I told John over the phone when we talked about it, the trailer. I was so excited about this movie because the trailer doesn't give anything away, and I was like, I'm so glad the trailer's just a tone piece and it doesn't spoil anything.
That's what the movie is. Yeah.
I realized I was like, you can't spoil this movie because there's fucking nothing to spoil except for the very ending.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I was very. I was underwhelmed by the movie. I think it's mid-tier Tarantino, mid to low tier. I even liked Hateful Eight better than this, just because Hateful Eight has a more engaging mystery.
Okay.
And a good story throughout the whole thing. You want to know what happens at the end, even if all the parts don't equal up greater than the sum of them. But yeah, it was a solid. I think Quentin Tarantino makes good films. He doesn't make bad movies. So even though this is like an okay Tarantino movie, it's still better than most of the trash that we see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I don't know. That's my 2 cents, and we'll talk about the ending here in a second.
So the one thing that I really want now more than ever is a downloadable content for Grand Theft Auto 5 where you can play as Rick and Cliff Booth, and you can drive around in the same Los Santos, but it's like 1969 Los Santos.
69, sorry. I said 79 earlier.
That would be awesome if you could just play as Brad Pitt in GTA. But all that aside, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I will agree, it's very slow, and it builds to a great ending. However, I was totally just along for the ride. In terms of like just like a movie to just go and take myself out for a little bit and just let the movie run its course. It's visually appealing. There's some good humor to it. I could watch Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt talk about how to properly do the laundry for like an hour. I think Brad Pitt steals the show for sure. Yeah. I'm a huge Brad Pitt fan, so that might have a little bit of bias towards it, but I do think he has some of the best lines and scenes and character interactions.
He's given the most to work with in terms of entertaining stuff. Like Leo is utilized for his acting ability in the movie as an actor, which is fascinating. It's a fascinating dynamic.
It's such a the concept of the movie in and of itself, like even though there's not really much of a plot to it, it's just like it's a movie about making movies, and these guys are kind of playing themselves, but in an alternate world where they're in the 60s. Meta. It's so meta. It's just like. And like if you don't know about a lot of like Hollywood and the history of Hollywood, you might be lost on that. But if you do, like we do, then I think it's just like a really cool, like messed up love letter to making movies, right?
You said over the phone it feels like a raunchy La La Land.
Yeah.
And I think that's apt.
Yeah.
Because
it's like La La Land's like it's like this is Hollywood. This is why we love Hollywood and we love musicals and all this stuff, and it pays homage to the 60s. And so does this, but it's like but the people that live there in the 60s are really weird, and like
a bunch of them are shitheads.
Yeah, they're awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a double feature of La La Land and Once Upon a Time would be
Which one do you watch first?
You watch Once Upon a Time first,
and
because
then you
La La Land is a better movie.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy it. Like, without diving into spoilers, there's a lot of scenes that we've talked about on the phone that I really enjoy.
Oh, yeah.
But I think I gave it like a 7.5. You said you'd probably give it like a 7, if not maybe a little lower.
7 sounds about right. This movie's fascinating. So the mark of a good movie to me, or a movie that I enjoy, is the more...
Can you rewatch it?
The more I think... Not necessarily that. Because I don't think... We'll talk about with spoilers. I think this is the least rewatchable movie on the planet. I think
the entire planet?
That's
a little rash.
Okay, so that's hyperbole, but
yeah.
I think this movie is so
Suicide Squad or Once Upon a Time, what are you rewatching?
They're both rewatchable, but for completely different reasons. Suicide Squad is trash. This movie is good.
So it's like a good unrewatchable film.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think something can be unreal. Like, it's like I don't really want to sit through American Gangster again, or whatever that movie was with the curb stomp. American History X.
Oh, okay.
I don't. It's like, what's oh shit? What's the movie that everyone talks about with the acid trips and everything like that?
Oh, with Jared Leto?
Maybe.
I don't know.
But it's like there's movies out there that are really powerful that are or Roma. Roma's a good example.
Okay.
I don't want to watch that movie ever again because that movie like reduced me to a crying fetal position.
Okay.
And it's like I don't really want to expose myself to that again. The same way applies to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where I think that the movie only really works because the movie's a slow burn. It's a build up to a punchline, and the punchline is so great if you don't see it coming,
which you don't the first time.
You
but
don't the
every
first time, but every time. Other time you're just going to be like waiting for when the end happens.
Sure.
And I think that takes away from a lot of the magic of the movie because it was so. When the ending starts, I was so
scared.
fixated at this. I was like, this is amazing. This is the movie. This is Tarantino.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yes. I was clapping. I was cheering. It was fabulous. And then I was like, oh yeah. But then the first 2 hours of the movie was just like nothing.
Yeah, but isn't that great that on home video you could just watch the last half hour? So
exactly.
That's the great part about the world we live in.
Yeah.
You definitely should go see this in theaters as soon as possible before the ending gets ruined for you and while there are still people going to see it for the first time.
And if you don't know anything...
The Benefits is one of the greatest in-theater moments probably of all time.
Try to find a packed theater.
Sure.
And if you don't know anything about the Manson family murders or Sharon Tate, maybe read up a little bit before you go into this. Because I think that also... If you don't know anything about this, I think that's going to hinder your enjoyment a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Because I was anxious. Let me tell you. I was like starting to... Because I don't like home invasion stuff, murders in cold blood, like cult stuff. That stuff really skeeves me out. And it makes me unsettled to think about.
Definitely.
And so when it started building to that, I was like getting very worried.
Have you seen Strangers?
No, and I don't have any interest in any of those.
You should not watch it. You'll never sleep again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that kind of concept I just don't like. And so knowing how dark Tarantino can get, I was like, spoilers from here on out for the rest of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Spoilers. Seriously. Spoilers. Skip ahead 5 minutes. When it started getting to that moment, I was like really, really worried. And I started to get uneasy, and I was like, oh my God, Tarantino can get dark, and I'm worried that he's going to get very dark, and it's going to be a very, like, somber ending, kind of like Wolf of Wall Street, where it's like it's suddenly...
He doesn't make movies like that.
I know, but...
He can get dark, but not in the way that it, like, you leave the movie and you're like, man, I feel awful.
I don't know, man. A director can switch... That's part of the, like... That's part of, like, the art of subversion, like, subversion of expectations with that, where it's like, I can see Tarantino making this thing and being like, because they narrate, Kurt Russell narrates the ending like it's a CSI episode. And so I was picturing the ending, you know, in, like, old movies where it's like, they even do it, like, with the FBI thing with Rick Dalton, where he's, like, playing it, and it's like, boom, like, this character was arrested. I was expecting that to be the ending, and it to be, like, a more of, like, a somber, realistic look at this grim, dark period for Hollywood, and that to be the reflection, where the ending of the movie is like, yeah, it's like a lot of these actors had some like pretty glamorous stuff happen to them, but then there's also this evil that is Hollywood. And Tarantino is famous for commentary as well, like commentary on the world around him and controversial issues, and I saw that being, you know, the ending. And I guess that, like you said, you knew what was happening from, like, Inglourious Bastards. The movie had lulled me into a state of, like...
uncertainty.
Yeah, and my brain being switched off, which that's also a good sign of a movie. If a movie can just make me, like, not think... Because a lot of times, like, with Game of Thrones or whatever, I was guessing what was going to happen next. In this, I was just, like, along for the ride. And I think that played a great part in my enjoyment of the ending. Because it gets batshit insane.
Oh, it's nuts. It's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I would say that I caught wind of what was stewing right around the time that they pulled up to the Tate estate, and Leo went outside when he was complaining about the muffler. I was like, okay, so he's going to revise history by having this bumbling fool that we've been hanging out with for 2.5 hours get involved, and something bad's going to happen to them instead.
Yeah.
But instead, what we got was still what came as a shock to me, which was a great little
I mean,
fight sequence, if you even want to call it that. It's more of a manslaughter.
Yeah. Of a murder rampage.
Yeah.
A violent cacophony of amazing brutality.
Yeah.
It's one of the best endings in...
Yeah, do you have a favorite part of the movie besides that ending?
I like the Bruce Lee sequence with Brad Pitt. I also just liked... I mean, in terms of, like... I liked it because it was very tense, but the Spawn Ranch sequence is amazing, too, with Brad Pitt. Just because it shows Tarantino's, like... It's very ominous.
It's a Western, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's also, like, almost horror movie, because I was expecting him to die. Mm-hmm. Like, I was expecting him to get jumped, but it just kind of ends.
Stabbed.
Like, the scene ends.
A bunch, yeah.
But...
I liked him beating up that hippie.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, very sweet.
But
did you know, like, the names of, like, the people that murdered the Tate family? Like, did you know that Tex, like, the guy that's doing horseback riding lessons, when they call him by his name, did you know that he was one of the guys?
I mean, I've known about them. I'm sure I've heard that in passing. Like, yeah. I've listened to a few things about the Manson family murders. Mm-hmm. But that's, like I said, that stuff kind of freaks me out. So I was like...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't want to really... Yeah. I mean, like, the gruesome... some of the details
Freaky.
About it, yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah, messed up stuff.
It's horrifying.
All right, that's about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we should call it there.
All right, so...
No more spoilers.
Welcome back. No more spoilers about it. Currently, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has an 84% on Rotten Tomatoes, 71% audience score.
I think the audience score is a little more on the nose.
I think so, too. That's honestly about, like you said, that's about where I'd rate it, like a 7.
Sure.
So, what would you rate it?
7.5.
7.5. Cool. So we're about on the same page. I think we liked a lot about it.
I like it. I don't love it, but I like it a lot. And I would definitely, I could see myself if a couple years or maybe even a year after it comes out when it's a little cheaper, I would buy it on home video to rewatch. The only 2 Tarantino movies that I own are Django and Inglourious Bastards. But
those are 2 of the best.
Yeah, for sure. I mean Django's
the best.
My favorite. Of the ones that you've seen, would you rank them? Because have you seen all 9 of his movies?
Except I haven't seen Death Proof.
Okay.
And I haven't seen
Have you seen Jackie Brown?
I've seen Jackie Brown.
Okay.
I've not seen Kill Bill Volume 2, but he doesn't view that as one of his 9, so...
He counts it as one movie.
He counts Volume 1 and 2 as one movie.
Okay.
I think that's it. I think I've seen everything else.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's your top 3?
Django, Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, I guess, in that order.
I think I would switch Inglourious Bastards and Pulp Fiction. Yeah. And then, like, maybe...
Pulp Fiction's just iconic.
Yeah, and then maybe, like...
One of the best Sam Jackson.
Maybe, like, Reservoir Dogs 4.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, good movie.
Film, good director.
Go
good
see
acting.
Go see it in theaters.
Yep.
All right, John. You ready to...
News dump.
Bust the news out like a...
I'm backing up the truck.
All right. First up on the news list from The Hollywood Reporter, Lil Nas X Old Town Road breaks Billboard Hot 100 record.
And he came out.
Yeah, good for him.
It's a good year for Lil Nas.
It's 17th week at number 1 in the 60-year history of the Billboard charts. It beat out Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men's One Sweet Day. And
what?
Despacito featuring Justin Bieber in 2017.
Right, well, I'm glad that they passed that.
Yeah. So there you go. Old Town Road. 17 weeks on the number 1 charts. Good for him.
Good for him.
That was
good for Billy Ray, too.
Yeah, good for Billy Ray Cyrus. Have you listened to the remix with Mason Ramsey?
No.
Shit's fire! Shit's absolutely fire. Best remix so far is the Mason Ramsey one.
Take a look.
We'll have to remix. We need to do we need to get a Radiovania Old Town Road remix up in this.
Yeah. We could do it as Clint Eastwood. I'm gonna take.
No, you gotta do it as Matthew McConaughey reading the Long Branch commercial.
L-I-V-I-N, baby. I'll take my horse to the Old Town Road.
So the biggest piece of news, obviously, San Diego Comic-Con 2019. There's a lot of movie, television, game news that came from it, but I think the main focus is Marvel.
It's the big one.
Because they blew...
They were like... flopped it on the table.
Big old slong on the table.
Yeah.
And so...
let's talk about the other stuff, though, first. Just a couple little hit pieces.
Okay, cool.
Do you have anything else that wasn't Marvel from Comic-Con?
Well, one that I had up here is that DC is making a Red Sun animated film.
Yep.
Which is cool. They also announced Batman Beyond Blu-ray Collector's
That's
Edition.
That's what I wanted to talk
fall.
about. Yeah. Have you watched Batman Beyond?
Most of it.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't watched it
I can't believe
literally years.
I can't believe it's 20 years old.
That's crazy.
99. I'm definitely buying this, for sure. As a Batman animated and the DC animated universe fan. Batman the Animated Series, Batman Beyond, and Justice League is a wonderful trilogy of television shows.
Did you watch the comparison video of
God,
like
it
how
looks
much
so good?
Yeah, way better.
Because I have the first 2 seasons of Batman Beyond on DVD, and it looks awful. It's really tough. It's like this weird purple hue to it all the time and stuff. But yeah, I'm very excited to rewatch it. I think keeping that show relevant is important because I do think that they will do a live action adaptation down the road eventually. It's just which of the Batmans do you get to play Bruce Wayne? And that was the question that I wanted to ask you. Who would you like to be old Bruce Wayne? If they made this movie anywhere in between now and the next 30 years.
I mean, my dream pick would be Christian Bale just because I want more. I just want more of that universe.
With Joe Gordon-Levitt as Batman Beyond?
That's fine with that. Or no, get younger.
Younger?
Cast new.
Okay.
This is like perfect world scenario.
Mm-hmm.
If Chris Nolan announced, like, obviously Tenet's his next project, but after that, if he announced, like, I'm doing a Batman Beyond movie, we're going back, I'm doing one more part in the it'll be the Dark Knight saga now because they'll add the 4th one and it'll be like the Dark Knight. Call it the Dark Knight Returns. I don't give a fuck. Call it something like that.
You can't do that.
Call it the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight. I don't know.
Dark Knight Rebirth.
Sure, something like that, and then just literally have it be old grizzled Christian Bale mentoring whatever his name is.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry McGinnis, yeah. And I think that can make for an awesome 4th chapter in that movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That saga.
That'd be really cool.
But yeah, other than that, those 2, I didn't have anything else from Comic-Con.
Okay, I have a couple more.
Sure, hit me.
Kevin Smith dropped his movie,
right.
Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which as a Kevin Smith fan, I was very excited for. I don't know if you have watched the trailer.
I watched the trailer, yeah.
It might not resonate with you as well if you haven't seen all of his View Askew verse movies.
I mean, it seemed funny.
The big pull from that is that he got Ben Affleck to come back.
And Matt Damon.
Yeah, which is... He's always been quasi-friendly with Matt Damon, but him and Ben Affleck were not talking to each other for years. Pretty much this whole decade. So having him come back to reprise roles from the 90s that he played, I think was really... It was an emotional hit point for me because I like those movies quite a bit. So I'm excited for that to come out. They released Top Gun, which Top Gun is not a good movie.
That trailer sucks.
You don't like that trailer?
No.
Oh, I was in for it, man.
No, I don't give a fuck.
I love give me the cruise. Take me on a cruise, baby. He's flying the planes himself. That guy is insane. He is a madman.
That movie's gonna suck so hard.
It's gonna get like a 65%.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad,
but it's gonna make some money. It's gonna make some money.
I don't know. I don't think that Top Gun is the box office draw that a lot of people
think it is
think
for our parents because my mom texted me the trailer and was like, "Have you watched this yet?" I was like, "No." She's like, "You should watch this. It looks crazy good." I was like, "All right,
well."
So like for that generation, you got to understand like that movie came out and people loved it so much that they signed up to be in the Navy. Like, Navy recruiting went through the roof. They had recruiting offices set up in movie theaters. You know what I mean?
All right, so drink bet time.
Okay.
The reported budget of Top Gun Maverick is $140 million, so times that by 2.
It's all jet fuel. Jet fuel and iPhones.
Yeah. So that's around $280 million if you include marketing for the film.
Which they're going to market this movie a ton.
How much money does this movie make? Let's do domestic.
Domestic?
Domestic only. Or we could do like a high...
When does it come?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just spit a demon out my body.
Demon just tried to come out.
Zach's not here. It's Goose.
When does it come out?
It comes out July 11th.
Next year?
What the fuck?
That's when the trailer dropped, I think.
Yeah, where the hell?
This movie's supposed to come out this year, isn't it?
Hold on a sec. All
right.
For some reason, it's giving me the Russian release date. June 26, 2020.
Okay, so next summer.
All
right.
It's a big summer blockbuster. It's going to be coming out right around...
2 months after Black Widow, so they don't have any Marvel competition then. You got to take that into account. I think that movie makes $400 million domestic. Just domestic. I don't think it does well overseas because I think the big draw of this movie is going to be the American patriotism.
Before you say lock in your bet for the drink bet,
Top
Gun original, like 1986, came out May 16th, 1986. Its domestic gross was $179 million.
Yeah, you gotta adjust that for inflation.
Sure.
And nostalgia.
I'm gonna go low on that, so I'll take your under. I'll do.
You think it's gonna bomb?
No, I don't think it's going to bomb,
right,
but I do not think that the interest level on Top Gun for anybody older than our parents' generation is enough to... Like, I don't want to see that movie in the theater.
Okay.
So, and I would have to assume that a lot of people my age...
There's going to be a lot of people in the military that are going to go see this movie. You got to take that into account. That, like, this is like, people that are in ROTC love this movie. Like, our parents and their friends love this movie. People like Tom Cruise in general. That's a big draw. I think they're gonna do well.
We'll see.
It might not be good, but I think it'll do well.
So you think it's gonna do $400 million, about $50 million more than the original?
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll do a solid 300.
Okay,
300 million.
Fair enough.
Around there. I think it's not gonna beat the original's box office, adjusted for inflation.
Let's bet a natty light on it.
There we go. Or what? That sounds like what Tom Cruise would want us to drink.
All right, how about this? Top Gun Maverick, the drink bet is a 6-pack of Coors. And the loser gets 2 of the 6. So you get 4 Coors if you're correct.
This sounds convoluted. I love it.
Yeah? You like it?
Perfect.
Perfect.
It's locked in.
I will say what has me excited about this movie is Miles Teller playing Goose's kid.
Sure. Which he's not in the trailer at all, which is fascinating. He is?
Yeah. He's in it twice. They're very quick.
Does he talk?
No. He's playing the piano like his dad. So he's got the sunglasses on, and he has a little mustache. So he looks like a young Goose. And then there's another like quick glimpse of him like pointing and yelling at somebody like they're getting in a fight. Like people are holding him back.
Interesting.
Because the premise of the movie is that he doesn't like Maverick because Maverick killed his dad, essentially, because he's an idiot. So...
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting film. I mean, I would almost see it out of curiosity, but at the same time, I don't really have... I'm
going to drag you to go see this movie. We're going to go see this together.
If it gets great ratings, that's the thing. That's the secret sauce there. If I see the Rotten Tomatoes score is like an 85% or higher, I'll be like, all right. Mm-hmm. All right, maybe Tom Cruise still got it. Maybe they flip something and make it like very emotionally impactful.
I was really hoping that they would...
He did. He gonna get fried.
You think Maverick's gonna die?
He's gonna
I think
die.
so too.
Absolutely.
I was hoping they would digitally unfix Tom Cruise's teeth so that they're crooked like it was in the first Top Gun. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, moving on.
Marvel.
So that's Comic-Con stuff.
Yeah. So they announced the panel, and I'm gonna go through this article on Marvel's website in the order that they announced these projects, not in the order of the timeline.
Okay.
Does that make sense, or should we do it timeline?
Do whatever you want, man. This is your thing.
All right. So first off, their first announcement was the Eternals, starring Richard Madden as Icarus, Kumail Nanjiani as Kingo, Lauren Ridloff as Makari, Brian Tyree Henry as Phastos, Salma Hayek as Ajak, Leah McHugh as Sprite, Don Lee as Gilgamesh, and Angelina Jolie as Athena. The Eternals will be directed by Chloe Zhao, and it comes to theaters November 6th, 2020.
What do you know about the Eternals?
Zip! And I'm going to keep it that way.
You don't want to know anything?
Don't want to know anything. I know that they have something to do with the Celestials, and I know that they birthed the mutants. But other than that, I don't really want to know much, because I'm thinking this is going to be a Guardians scenario, where there's a lot of surprises. I also think that Thanos will be in this film, in some respect.
Death, I think, will be in this film. There's a couple of characters that I don't think they're revealing yet.
Yeah.
Imagine that this is like Marvel's Greek god pantheon. That's the best way I could explain it.
I mean, it's got a very Greek or...
Well, that's what I mean. Like the characters
too.
are like renamed after different Greek gods and stuff like that,
yeah.
with the exception of Athena and Icarus, which is just like, well, I'll just keep those. Those are cool names.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this. I think that the cast is cool. I love Kumail Nanjiani. I think he'll do a good job.
I love that guy. He's great.
He's hilarious. And Angelina Jolie is not my favorite actress, but she has clout, so I'm interested to see what she brings to that role. I also just like Greek aesthetic. Yeah,
She got some big clout.
she got big old lip clout. Yeah, are you excited?
I'll see the trailer. I'll let
Okay.
you know.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean, they're not gonna. None of them, I bet you, will be bad. But it's not the most intriguing of all the things they announced. For me.
Marvel's earned my trust.
Sure.
Next up was the first show coming exclusively to Disney Plus. Marvel Studios' The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan came on stage to greet fans, and was revealed that Daniel Bruhl will return as the villain Baron Zemo.
With the pink sock mask.
Yeah. It comes to Disney Plus in the fall of 2020, so we get that this year. Thoughts?
Cool. Rad. I want to know if these are miniseries or if they're continually multiple seasons.
I think
shows.
what they've said is miniseries.
Okay.
Or that
Well,
seems
then-
to be that they're
then I'm excited for
It's
it.
like 8-9 episodes, one season. That's their story, one and done.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yeah, I think so too.
If it was like
love,
4 seasons of the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I'd be like, I don't like those guys that much.
I like Daniel Bruhl a lot, so I'm excited to see him.
Yeah, I'm
as
glad that
more
they're
of a
bringing
villain.
him back. And Falcon's gonna be what? He's gonna have the Cap shield too. So it's not really the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's Captain America, Falcon, and Winter Soldier. Yeah. But
Well, I mean, he's
that's
gonna.
cool. Is Chris Evans in that show?
Good question.
And also is Margaret Atwood
Yes.
in the show?
No,
is that
because
her
she's
name?
dead. She died in Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah, but
Civil War.
don't you think there would be like flashback stuff?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. No flashbacks.
I bet
If
you-
there's a flashback, it's to Endgame.
What
I
about-
bet you that
What
the
about
suit-
Sharon Carter? Is she in
the oh
Blonde?
yeah,
Her
I can see
niece?
that. I can see that for sure.
What about Nick Fury?
No.
Okay. What about? I'm gonna go through all of them. What about the Red Skull?
Oh,
I bet you there's an episode of that
I
show
would
that takes place.
love if
I bet
the Red
you.
Skull was
I
in
will
that
do another
show.
drink bet with you. I bet you there's an episode of that show that
On
takes place
Vormir.
in World War II,
Oh, World War II.
and it's Bucky. It's a Bucky centric episode, but they bring back Chris Evans, they bring back the Red Skull, and they bring back Peggy,
Yo.
and they bring back Tommy Lee.
You just gave me chills. I would love to revisit those characters.
Zach
in
is
World
lifting
War
the
II.
table up with his boner right now.
Yeah.
So I think
Dude,
I think that is totally going to happen. That's going to be like the episode 6 or 7 if it's
Sure.
8 episodes.
If they did that and I didn't see it coming, I would be so ecstatic.
Mm-hmm.
I would be so ecstatic. Like, just to hear that theme come back, like the...
Yeah,
And then it's like the World War II base.
yeah,
Oh my god, I just got chills.
yeah.
Very excited for this one.
Because I think that show is going to be like it's going to be like cool spy thrillery. Like they're
Yeah, it's
doing
gonna be
like
Winter
covert
Soldier,
missions,
yeah.
and then they're going to be like, "Hey, you want some Cap? Here we go." And then it's like some type of untold story.
Sure. That'd be awesome. Next up is a classic Marvel character making his movie debut. Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, starring Simu Liu in the title role. Appearing alongside Liu will be Awkwafina. That's literally this person's name.
Do you
In an
know who
undisclosed
Awkwafina
role.
is?
No.
Oof.
And
I'm
Tony
not excited about her, but I'm excited about everything else.
and Tony Leung is the real Mandarin. So Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi will be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton in theaters February 12th, 2021. Also, along with the internals, I know jack shit about Shang-Chi,
Okay,
and I kind of want to keep it that way.
he's cool. He's better than Iron Fist, in my opinion.
Okay.
Spends a lot of time in the Marvel Knights with like the Punisher and Daredevil and stuff. So
I'm excited.
That's why I'm excited for this movie. Is I'm hoping that it opens the door to the street level characters and bringing them into the fold. If they're not going to do movies, Disney Plus, bring back Daredevil, please. That would be awesome. I'm very excited about the Mandarin aspect of it.
Same. That's my most
With
anticipated.
10 rings,
Yeah.
baby. I want to see him wearing all of them, just like going to town on somebody. You know what I mean? But also just like, the mystical aspect. They seem to be focusing a lot on the mystics of this particular phase. So get ready for some magic stuff because it's happening.
Yeah.
Big time.
Very excited.
Cool.
Marvel Studios.
I don't know who the director is, though. Do you know anything about the director?
No.
We should-
Well, Daniel
we should-
Cretton, along with the person that's doing the Eternals, are both like pretty unknown. I don't think they have much work, if any,
That's probably a good
in
thing.
major features. I think they might be like independent directors in some respect. Daniel Cretton, at least, yeah, he's done nothing that I know.
Cool.
Just Mercy, 2019. The Glass Castle, 2017. He did a movie in 2012 called I Am Not a Hipster. So I know nothing about this.
All right, sounds good. What's next?
What's next? Marvel Studios' WandaVision, an original series starring Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany reprising their MCU roles as Wanda Maximoff and Scarlet Witch in Vision. Co-starring with them is Teyonah Parris, who Feige revealed would be playing the adult Monica Rambeau, who was introduced as a child in Marvel Studios' Captain Marvel. Marvel Studios' WandaVision will arrive on Disney Plus in the spring of 2021.
So what's the connection between Monica Rambeau and Wanda and my least favorite Avenger?
Speaking of, how did you like in the In Memoriam video that Vision got a thing and it's just like the most pixelated, shitty photo?
It was great. It was so funny.
That made me laugh very hard.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, I don't know. All I can say is that I saw an article after this, like all this news was coming out on social media. There was a Twitter article that I saw that I scrolled by really fast that was kind of a vague plot description based on the comics where she is trying to move on but is like seeing him. So it's not...
Or like Arkham Knight?
Kind of. Or she's kind of like creating him, maybe with her powers as this like figment of her imagination and also like
Can't they just rebuild him? Is it that hard?
They need the stone. That's where he drew his life force from.
In the movies. Not so much in the comics. They can just rebuild him.
I guess, but we're in movie lore now. We're not comic lore.
All right, well, they have a thing called a time stone. They can just go back and get another stone and reprogram him and then return the stone. That's going to be the final episode of the show.
This is the one I'm least excited about.
Thank you. Yeah, me too.
I mean,
I saw this and I was like, this is like Iron Fist for me. I was like, I don't know.
I like Elizabeth Olsen quite a bit, and I think that they're they figured out her character more in Infinity War and Endgame more than they ever did in any of the other Marvel movies.
The whole 10 minutes that she's a part of, yeah.
So I think if they hold on to that aspect of her character and show that emotionally broken side of her and make it more like a somber psychedelic type show, I'm looking forward to it. I also think that it's exciting as a setup for Doctor Strange.
So sad about this robot guy, but she has moved on so quickly from her dead brother that got shot like 10 times. She just like doesn't care.
Because we're trying to forget about him.
I know, but it's just like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe they'll bring him back. In a world where they bring back Jane Foster, bring back Quicksilver. Let's see what... You didn't see this coming. He's like, I'm back.
They should just cast Evan Peters as Quicksilver in the new...
That'd be cool.
The MCU's favorite trickster, Loki, will also make his way to Disney Plus as Marvel Studios' Loki. Spring 2021. We've known about this for a while. So
here's what I don't like about this Loki thing is the graphic.
The logo sucks dick.
It's awful.
It sucks dick, but it also...
It looks like a 5-year-old put together different letters that they found in a like box of Legos.
It's supposed to be representative of each of the...
Realms
or each of the eras. So, I don't know. They're going to change that logo, though, I promise
you.
So
it's just him traveling through time.
Well,
with the cosmic cube?
I don't think he's traveling through time and space. I think it's going to be he ends up in an alternate reality. How does he adjust to that reality? I don't think it's going to be like... what's that show where the guy like...
Quantum Realm.
Quantum Leap or whatever. It's not going to be Quantum Leap with Loki. That would be cool. Even though that would be a funny premise. Yeah, so I'm excited. Obviously, more Tom Hiddleston, the better. He's one of my favorite actors in the MCU.
The fact that they've introduced the concept of everyone that they've killed, they can just bring back because there's an older version of them, a.k.a. Gamora, Black Widow, and Loki, to be able to do stuff, is interesting.
Yeah. Marvel Studios'
It's going to be confusing narratively for the general public, potentially. We'll see how it goes.
So. I think they're gonna dumb it down. Like I don't think any of that stuff's gonna be in it. Like the idea of bringing back. I don't think they're gonna get rid of the time travel element in the very beginning. It's gonna be, where did I go to? Where am I?
Where would you like him to go?
I don't know. I want to see
where I want him to go.
Sakaar?
No. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. He just like wakes up in the same diner that James Franco's eating pie in.
So good.
And he's like, where am I?
That'd be amazing.
Do it. Or, I don't know. It'd be funny if they just like dropped him in another movie that was bad. 2008's Incredible Hulk would be a good contender. Ed Norton reprises his role as Bruce Banner.
Oh my god.
And he's like, something's different about you, Hulk.
It's like, you're not the same punk ass bitch that slapped me around.
Yeah. All right.
Marvel Studios' Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, starring Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange. Scott Derrickson returning as director. Joining Doctor Strange this time around will be the Scarlet Witch, played by Elizabeth Olsen.
This will be the one that she's actually going to be good in.
I'm very excited about this movie. In another twist, the events of Doctor Strange will connect with the Disney Plus series of WandaVision. And it's said to be the first MCU movie that brings a horror element. Because Scott Derrickson, before he did Doctor Strange, was doing a couple... I think he did a Blumhouse movie. He did a bunch of horror movies before.
Did he do the Insidious movies?
Maybe that's what he did.
Yeah, those are good movies.
In theaters May 7th, 2021.
Cool.
I'm very excited about this movie.
I should finish the first
You need to watch Doctor Strange. I mean, I don't think this movie's going to play into that movie a whole lot, but...
What happened to Chiwetel Ejiofor at the end of the first Doctor Strange?
He's still alive.
Okay, is he going to be in this movie, you think?
Maybe.
He should, because I like that actor.
Me too.
Here's my favorite part. He's like, the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages. That's the only part that I remember.
The legacy
is Rachel McAdams coming back?
No way. There's
she dead?
No way. I mean, she's not dead, but I don't think that character really worked. I don't think they're going to bring her back. You know,
they can bring anyone back. That's what I've come to find out. They brought back Renee Russo. Not that her character never worked, but like things that I didn't think that I would see again pop back up.
I think Scarlet Witch at the end of the Disney Plus series is gonna move on finally from Vision and
date Doctor Strange.
I think they're cosmic astral plane fucking. It's coming. And
that's so weird. I don't know.
They're gonna jump out of their. They're gonna be in their ethereal bodies and they're gonna bone.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
I guarantee it.
I don't know.
The legacy of the What If comics will be adapted for the screen. Marvel Studios' What If, the first animated series in the MCU, will star Jeffrey Wright as the voice of the Watcher.
That's cool.
Many actors and actresses from the MCU will reprise their roles as voice talent, and it comes on 2021 exclusively on Disney Plus.
Cool. Very nice.
Yep.
That'll be fun.
Not much to say about this. I'm hoping it's good. It could easily be bad, though. Like, if the animation style sucks...
I think it'll change with each episode.
Yeah, that's a good point, too.
Yeah.
Maybe have, like, a claymation Iron Man episode.
This reminds me, there was a series of short films that came out that was released together in the early, mid-2000s that was called Batman Legend of the Dark Knight. And they did, like, different Elseworlds tales.
Yeah.
And each one was voiced by a different actor in a different animation style. I would like to see them do something along those lines. I think that'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Another character from the MCU will appear on the small screen. Marvel Studios' Hawkeye, starring Jeremy Renner, who joined Kevin Feige on stage to share more details about the show, which will introduce Kate Bishop, who has been hitting her mark in Marvel Comics. Marvel Studios' Hawkeye comes to Disney Plus in the fall of 2021.
Cool.
I've heard that the comic series that's the logo is drawing from is very good.
Yeah, Kate Bishop's pretty popular.
So I'm curious to know if
Clint
this is
Barton,
finally
not so popular.
if this is finally Jeremy Renner's time to shine.
I think his time to shine will be in Black Widow.
Is he in Black Widow?
He's gonna be in Black Widow.
I don't think he's in Black Widow.
They're gonna do Budapest, baby. It's happening. Just like Budapest, eh, Hawkeye?
It was also revealed.
I hope that Budapest is just them going to a opera that they didn't know that they were supposed to.
Love and
go.
Other Demons.
He's like, we need to get out of here. This is creepy.
Natalie Portman will return for Marvel Studios' Thor: Love and Thunder, joining Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson. Taika Waititi returns as director, and he confirmed Jane Foster will become the mighty Thor, Goddess of Thunder. Love and Thunder will arrive in theaters November 5th, 2021. This is the one I'm most excited about. I think it's no shit.
Yeah,
Taika Waititi is one of the best directors in comedy right now, and the logo is fucking metal. Even though I hate Natalie Portman a lot in those movies, I'm excited to see what she does in this one.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Not much.
So in the world where Immigration Song is Thor's theme, I think that Barracuda by Heart is Jane Foster's theme.
Do you think that's the one that goes on the trailer?
Yeah.
Ooh, Barracuda.
And she's like, and she's like throwing Mjolnir through some stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I was trying to think of another Led Zeppelin song that they could use.
I think you mix it up.
Okay.
I mean, you could do another one, Stairway to Heaven. They said that
Yeah, I don't know.
they also said that Valkyrie will become the first openly LGBT character in the movies, right? So
She said
gonna
she's
get
looking for a queen.
Who do you think it is?
Natalie Portman.
That's what I think so too. Yeah. And I think Thor is just going to be like, his head's going to explode. I think it's going to drive him to not be fat anymore. I think she's.
No, he's not going to be fat at the start of this.
I think he is.
No, he's not.
And they're dating, and he's like, "Oh man, where did I go wrong?" And he has to go off and
No, did you see all those shots of him in Endgame and behind the scenes where it's like him wearing the fat suit? Ain't no way they're putting him in that for another whole movie. Like,
no, just the beginning. It's like a cold open.
I think if anything, at the very end, Natalie Portman, Jane Foster, and Valkyrie are going to fight side by side together and realize that they love each other.
And
then the ending is Chris Hemsworth.
Do it on the Rainbow Bridge. Yeah.
It looks like we're going to find out a lot more about Natasha Romanoff. Black Widow, starring Scarlett Johansson, reprising her MCU role. She'll be joined by David Harbour as Alexei, which is funny considering Stranger Things.
The Red Guardian,
a.k.a. the Red Guardian. Florence Pugh as Yelena. O.T. Fagbenel as Mason, and Rachel Weisz as Melina. Kate Shortland is directing. Marvel Studios' Black Widow will come to theaters May 1st, 2020. This is the first of Phase 4.
All the Black Widows out on the table. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
David Harbour is a Russian Captain America.
Yep, that's what I'm most excited about.
And Hawkeye will probably be in that movie too.
We will see.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last capper for all the Marvel dump, Mahershala Ali. Did you see the video of this, by the way?
Mm-mm.
So Mahershala Ali walks on stage because Kevin Feige he says something along the lines of, he's like, "Thank you all for coming. It's so many great announcements. So great. So excited for the next 2 years of Marvel." Great. He was like, "We didn't even get time to talk about mutants or the Fantastic Four," and the crowd goes fucking wild.
Yeah.
But then he's like, "But we did have one more announcement." And Mahershala Ali walks up on stage, and everyone's clapping because they're like, "Oh, he's going to be in one of these movies." And then he puts on the Blade hat, and the audience fucking loses their mind.
Yeah, that's a really great pickup.
I am
for sure.
very excited about this film.
Yeah.
No announced director, no announced anything, because I think this movie hasn't even started. I do think that they're going to set Blade up to be working with Black Panther, though. Like, I do think that if Black Panther has a cameo in this movie, I think maybe, but I do think that eventually in Black Panther 2, you're going to have Blade and Black Panther side by side at one point.
I think they might actually set him up in Shang-Chi. That would be interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
They cross over a little bit.
All right, we're back from the break. Sorry, audio cut out because of apparent system overload, so whatever. All I said was
James
that
McAvoy came in and talked about X-Men for a little bit, and you missed it. Sorry.
All I was saying was that I think Maya Hawke would be a good pick to have as Mystique in one of these Phase 4 films, and that's about it.
Maya Hawke playing Jennifer Lawrence, playing Mystique, playing a Skrull, playing Nick Fury.
It's 5 levels of acting.
It's just like a whole end credit sequence is it like shape changing through multiple appearances.
And it shows her in all the other movies as that character.
Mm-hmm. So Galactus, is this happening? You think it's
Galactus? I think that either that or Apocalypse.
Apocalypse?
Trying to set up Apocalypse again.
Oof.
Because that, I mean, first mutant, you could try and try to reintroduce that. Because no one remembers that movie anymore.
You think that's going to be their next big bad?
I don't know. I think they got a lot of villains to draw from.
I think it'd be cool if the Scarlet Witch was their big villain. And they do the House of M thing. Yeah.
Okay.
When she tries to get rid of the mutants. Maybe that's what they do, and that's where they've been, is she messed up.
That would be interesting.
Right? It'd be really cool.
I like that idea.
There's a really great part of that comic. Do you want me to kind of ruin it for you, or are you ever going to read it? It's like 20 years old.
Is it going to play into the movies?
House of M. It might.
Don't spoil it.
Damn it, dude.
Sorry, buddy.
God, read more.
All right. From Deadline, we got to blaze through this news so we can end this podcast. Avengers Endgame finally conquers King of the World James Cameron's Avatar to become the highest grossing film of all time. This was dropped at the MCU panel. Not much else to say, but fucking yes.
Mm-hmm. You know what'd be cool is watching Thanos fight all of the Na'vi. He just shows up to the big tree. He's like, I have arrived. I am inevitable. And
I've come for your unobtainium.
Just give me your unobtainium. Yeah, so Disney beat itself for the greatest record of all time.
Good job, Disney.
Nice job. Oh, I did it.
Speaking of Disney, trailer for Mulan dropped.
Oh yeah.
What'd you think? Just surface level.
It looks cool visually.
This is the first of these like live action remakes that I'm actually kind of looking forward to because it looks very different. They're
Doesn't seem like it's going to be a musical.
No musical, not at all.
So I'm out. I'm just kidding.
I think that this is going to be a very grounded, it looks violent too. Like I like that it's a war drama. It looks like I like that it's very traditional. Like it doesn't seem to be any whitewashing at all. Looks like a very traditional Asian cast. I love the environments. All the set design and costumes look amazing. Very excited. It looks dark too, which I enjoy because the story of Mulan is actually pretty messed up.
It's really messed up.
Yeah, I'm hoping for better things than Blue Genie out of this.
Have you seen Aladdin or Lion King?
Yeah. No interest. Lion King came out while we were on our sabbatical, and it landed at 53% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I'm pretty sure one of us predicted at some point. It was like it was going to end up at like a 50 or 60%. So, yeah.
So it happens when it's an unoriginal take.
It's the same fucking movie.
Yeah. No thanks.
And they cut out Be Prepared, apparently.
They did?
Apparently.
It's because Chiwetel, whatever, how you pronounce it. Chiwetel Ejiofor probably isn't a great singer.
Probably not.
Yeah. But neither was Jeremy Irons, to be fair. He's not that good in that song. You know what I mean?
Be prepared. Did you know that Jeremy Irons, during the recording of that song, about halfway through the sessions of recording Be Prepared, he threw out his voice and couldn't finish the song singing it? So they brought in like another person to finish the rest of the song.
I didn't know that. Poor Alfred.
That's how it starts. The fever.
The rage.
So Christopher Nolan's next movie, Tenet, highly anticipated new film, especially for me because I didn't like Dunkirk, secretly debuted its trailer in front of Hobbs and Shaw. So,
dang it. I haven't actually seen this.
So I watched, the leaks have been going around. I watched one of the leaks. It's just a cell phone footage of the trailer being recorded. I'm assuming that they're going to drop it online soon.
Maybe. Or maybe they're like, you gotta go see Hobbs and Shaw.
40-second teaser screened ahead of Hobbs and Shaw. Yet to hit the web, unsure when it will.
Who's in it?
John David Washington.
Really?
Yeah, but it's just got a pretty stacked
That's a cool
cast.
pickup. What's it about?
So the plot has... Do you want me to spoil the trailer?
Yeah.
So what happens in the trailer is there's a ticking clock.
Okay,
kind of.
great.
So
Yeah.
just like Chris
Like
Nolan, every one of his
Dunkirk,
fucking movies.
Jeez.
And it zooms in on...
How many cuckoo clocks do you think in that guy's house?
That's all he's got in his home. That's his only decor. Comes home and listens to the sound of fucking bells.
Alright, sorry, continue.
So it's a zoom up on glass that's shattered with a bullet hole. John David Washington's behind the glass examining it.
Okay.
And it cuts to black and it says, "The time has come for a new protagonist." And then it cuts back to him looking. He starts walking down the line of all these bullet holes in this glass. It looks people are saying it looks almost identical to the shot in Dark Knight where he's examining the bullets in the wall.
So cool.
And then it's like more shots of that. And then there's some like army SWAT guys storming a place. It's him looking out a window. And then the trailer ends with him, John David Washington, putting on like this gas mask looking thing. And then in front of him, a door opens with this light that shines on him. And then it snap cuts to Tenet. And the title card, Tenet, is spelled T-E-N. And then upside down, reversed E-T. With the T upside down. And then the logo like twists like this. So it's 10-10. Okay. So people are not sure if it's actually called Tenet or if it's 10. And then there's a looping element. So people are speculating that it has a lot to do with time travel, or it could be like an alternate dimension sort of film.
So this guy's like a detective?
Maybe.
Of sorts?
That's what it seems to be. There's no plot yet. Like there's no synopsis or anything, but the trailer seems to indicate that it's a mystery that might have some like mystical or like space-time continuum stuff. So
right. Is it a period piece?
No, it looks very modern.
Okay, cool.
It looks very modern.
That's good. Who do you think's in it besides John David Washington?
I mean, they've
of
released
the normal regulars. Do they have a cast for it?
Yeah, let me pull it up real fast just because so Robert Pattinson's in it. He's not in the trailer at all.
Interesting.
John David Washington, Aaron Taylor Johnson's in it. Michael Caine is in it. Kenneth Branagh is in it again. Someone named Elizabeth Debicki is in it. I don't know her.
So there's 2 returning cast members so far.
Clemence Posey is going to be in it. There's a few people, yeah. But yeah,
no Tom Hardy.
No Tom Hardy as of yet. Could be like a surprise though. Release date July 17th, 2020. So we have an entire year until this fucker comes out.
That's cool though. I mean, I didn't even know that he was making one on the way. So
yeah. One of the first Chris Nolan movies in a while to not have the music be composed by Hans Zimmer. It's composed by composer Ludwig Göransson.
You know who that is, right?
No.
Black Panther.
Oh, really? That's him.
And he's also doing the music for The Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So he got to deal with a couple of people after that Black Panther soundtrack blew up. Ludwig is how you say that, actually.
That's about it. I had the Nintendo Switch Lite on here.
It's a light
you can't
model.
dock it, right? You can't. No, you can dock it.
I don't think so.
I
think it's a purely portable.
Okay, so no dock, no detachable Joy-Cons. $100 cheaper. Is this the model that you're going to buy, or you want the
one
OG?
that can dock? Yeah, I want to play a console on my TV.
Same.
Yeah, cool.
That's really all
that's nice.
There is.
It's already a portable console. I don't understand.
Nintendo.
Someone probably was like, it's too big. I can't do with it. It's like, all right, fine. Just when Nintendo's out, they pull you back.
They pull me back, yeah.
All right, I have 2 things I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
First off, before we go to comic shop news, there's another trailer that came out that I like. It was The Irishman.
Yeah.
For Netflix, which is the next Martin Scorsese.
Wait, that's a
movie.
Netflix movie?
It's on Netflix.
What?
So Martin Scorsese
is it getting a theater release at all?
I don't know. Has made a deal with the devil, and he's dropping a feature film on Netflix. And if it's a Scorsese movie, it's going to be like a 3-hour movie. And it stars Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and Joe Pesci. So he's bringing back Pesci and De Niro, which is already a good sign.
That movie's going to have a theater release.
Oh, for sure.
Because they're going to want it in rewards contention.
Selectively, but yeah. But it'll also be on Netflix. And it's about Jim Hoffa. Do you know Jim Hoffa? A little bit. It's like around the time of the Kennedy assassination, mobs and politicians and stuff. De Niro is playing the titular Irishman. It's like Frankie. I can't remember his last name off the top of my head. Yeah. There's a book that this is based on, though, that I need to read that I'm pretty jazzed for. But yeah, I love mob movies. It's probably one of my favorite genres of movies. Mm-hmm. So like I'm a big Goodfellas fan, Godfather, stuff like that. But the big thing with this movie is that it's going to take place over 2 time periods.
Those sirens are on our end, not your car if you're listening
definitely.
in the car.
So they're going to take place over 2 time periods, and they're de-aging De Niro and Pacino and Pesci a little bit. So like part of the movie is it. So did you watch the trailer at all?
Yes, I did.
So like that last image, the whole trailer is slowly him turning while he's talking on the phone. So that's like what he's going to look like de-aged. I was curious what you thought about that, because they're doing this a bunch with movies right now. You know what I mean?
Marvel's going to take advantage of this in Phase 4.
Mm-hmm,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. The trailer seemed exciting. I mean, it's a Scorsese movie, so you know what you're getting in.
But it's even better. It's a mob Scorsese movie.
I know,
because his last one was that
Silence.
Yeah. That Pilgrim one.
Yeah. Did you see Silence?
No.
I heard it was depressing.
I heard it was his passion project, and there's like 12 different torture scenes. Yeah. Because no one told him to cut the movie.
I am excited. I didn't know that it's Netflix. That makes me even more excited.
You might not have to go to the theater to watch it.
I mean,
which I think maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where it's like Marvel movies. I'll go because I want to be a part of that crowd. But a movie like this, where it's slow and quiet, like I would have much preferred to see Once Upon a Time at Hollywood at home. Actually, no, never mind. I take that back.
I would have rather seen First Man at home.
Yes,
when I could pause it and go to the bathroom. And
Once Upon a Time was a bad call there because I forgot about the ending.
You're okay.
I was thinking about the boring
little
stuff.
memory lapse stuff.
Thinking about the boring stuff
for sure. Yeah, so I'm very excited about that.
Cool.
All right, let's do comic shop news real quick.
Okay.
Do you know that The Walking Dead is over abruptly?
I did.
Did you hear about this?
Robert Kirkman is finished.
They were soliciting books through like next spring. Like even comic shop owners, it was like Walking Dead was going to go into like issues like 215 range, right? 193 was the last issue. So a couple weeks ago, 193 came out, and people and it said the end at the end. And then it was confirmed on Twitter by Robert Kirkman, and he was
Wow.
like, I didn't want to make a big deal about it ending because he's like, I don't like when comics do like, this is the end, and they build up to the end, and then it's not actually the end, and then they just reboot it the next time. He's like, Walking Dead's over. I've told the entire story. I was able to do my story a lot quicker than I thought for Rick Grimes, so it's over. So I heard this. I'm about 50 issues behind on Walking Dead because I've been reading it in the trade paperbacks. I never collected it as single issues because it started in 2003. It's been out for a while.
It's crazy.
But I heard this, ran out to the store, bought a copy. First print of Walking Dead 193. It's a $3.99 book. I bought it for $20 because it's already going for $35.
Shit.
I'm going to get that thing put in a plastic case.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to that for a long time because since it came out abruptly, it had a very small print release for the first edition.
Yeah.
So, but yeah,
Damn.
Walking Dead, end of an era. The television show is going to keep going. And it's,
Forever.
From what I've heard, it's like really bad. But now that we know that how long it is, I would really recommend reading it because I think the comic is awesome. It's very good. I've never watched a minute of that television show.
I tried to watch a whole season and it was trash.
Yeah.
Trash garbage.
But the book is really good. So that's really cool. So that's kind of like an end of an era. I mean, that thing's been around for the past 15 years. So Walking Dead is over. Other big things that I thought would be interesting for you. J.J. Abrams and his son is writing a miniseries for Spider-Man. So I'll be interested to see what that is. It's just going to be 6 issues.
Cool.
A little miniseries just called
Release date?
Spider-Man. I think the first one comes out later this fall.
Okay.
And then it'll be a monthly book, so it'll be like 6 months, so into next spring.
Cool.
Gideon Falls writer and artist Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino are doing a 3-issue Black Label series for the Joker. So they're handling a mini series for the Joker. A lot of people
That sounds awesome.
have said that this will be, he wants to do something really dark. Obviously, if you've read Gideon Falls, I imagine this to be in the vein of like a Killing Joke type of like really dark, really grizzled take on the Joker.
Cool.
So that's something to look out for. Later this fall, Marvel is celebrating its 80th year in making comic books, and they're releasing a large issue 1000. So they don't actually have a Marvel 1000 thing, but since Detective and Action Comics 1000 for DC have done so well the past couple years, they want to release something like that in the vein, because there's been obviously like thousands of issues of stuff to come out. So if you're interested in kind of like an homage to Marvel history, that'll be coming out later this year. What is the other thing? And then that's about it in terms of like big news. Other things are just like smaller reboots of characters for DC that were gone in the New 52.
Yeah.
And Marvel is done with the War of the Realms storyline with the Asgardians. And so Thor has Mjolnir back. He hasn't had it for like 2 years, so that's been cool. He got that back, and Jane Foster is now the new Valkyrie instead of being a Thor in the books.
Cool.
And Jason Aaron, who did the entire Jane as Thor run, which they're going to adapt into Thor Love and Thunder, is finishing his tenure on the Thor books with a 4-issue limited series called King Thor that takes place thousands of years into the future when he takes over Asgard for Odin. And it's the story of him and some of the rest of the Pantheon being the last things alive fighting the Phoenix Force entity. And that'll be him being done with Thor. I'm sure he won't be done with Marvel because they have him. He's like their Jeff Johns right now, so they got him on retainer. But
Yeah.
he has not announced what he's doing next.
Okay.
There you go. You're up to date.
Yeah, comic book shop talk. I have something to contribute.
Yeah.
I finished Gideon Falls, so we can talk about it for a couple minutes.
Story arc.
First trade of Gideon Falls.
What's it, 6 issues?
Yeah, something like that, 5 or 6 issues. I finished it. I took it to vacation, and whenever I needed a downtime at the beach.
It's a rough one to read on vacation.
I mean,
What'd you think?
I loved it personally. Like
I thought you would.
you picked a good one for me. I mean, it's a blend of it's a pretty solid blend of Twin Peaks and I don't know. I don't even know what else to blend it in there with. Like maybe something like True Detective.
Yeah, my guy JC, who runs the shop that I go to, when it came out, he had said that he'd watched Twin Peaks and that he's heard that a lot of people that really like that show like that. So that's why I was trying to push it on you, because I have not necessarily watched Twin Peaks. It's on my list of things to do. But yeah, it's just like it's labeled a horror book. They have to solicit it that way so that kids don't buy it. Yeah. Because it's definitely not for them. Yeah, but it's not like jump scare horror. It's just a very mind messy type of thing. So I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I loved the art was fabulous. It was unlike anything I've really looked at.
Dude, she's so great. That's like his art partner. So they did an issue of Avengers together. They're doing this Joker thing together. They had a short run on Old Man Logan a couple years ago that if you're interested in their combo, that was really good. Okay. Yeah, and they did a Green Arrow run too. But they team up on a lot of different stuff. And I think that her art she's probably my favorite comic book artist that's active right now, because Jim Lee doesn't do active stuff right now. But good stuff.
Well, I'm excited to pick up the second trade because it's already out, and then the third one releases this fall. So that's cool. I'll have to make a trip to the comic book store.
If you read it by trade, you'll always be about 5 issues behind. So it's not they do a really good job of releasing trades pretty frequently, so that way you can catch it. So it comes out once a month. So like every 5 to 6 months, a new trade will come out to be able to get you up to speed, because it's not even like 2 years old yet, that book. So.
And I think that trades are my preferred way of reading comics, too, because I feel like they did a good job of mapping out, like, these are going to be the ones that are included in this trade, because the ending of this is satisfactory, but also, like, leaves it... Yeah. Like where does it go next?
Single issues is the collector's preferred version, and if you are impatient and you want to read it when it comes out. But the thing that is nice about trades is there are no pages of advertisement. But luckily for you, Image doesn't do advertisements in the middle of the book, like the big two. They just put all of their advertisements in the last 3 pages. Sure. But yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah. Any standout characters for you?
I really, really enjoyed the storyline with Father Fred. I think that is... I mean, this book reads to me like a movie that's going to get made in 4 or 5 years.
Because, I think they're doing a TV show.
Yeah, a TV show would be perfect, too, because I think that it does have a Twin Peaks vibe where you could kind of experience these different characters in different scenarios. I like anything where there's... I like things that have storylines that are woven together that don't necessarily... Like, it's like 2 people connected but don't really know how yet. I love that kind of shit. Like, that stuff's awesome. And so... That's what Twin Peaks is it's like it's 100 characters that all have intersecting lives, but they don't realize it, and so you get super like cathartic payoffs with a lot of them. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they treat those characters in the next trade. Speaking of things, one last thing before we close out this episode, and things that we've been watching, reading, talking about. I didn't get to speak on at the beginning because I forgot. I'm finally 100% caught up on Legion.
Oh yeah.
The newest episode aired this past Monday, and there's 2 more episodes left. So this coming Monday and the next Monday will be the last episodes of the series. Yeah. They're ending it after the 3rd season.
Makes sense.
Have you watched? No. It turned from a show that I got apathetic about to one of my favorite shows.
Oh, cool. Very nice.
Worth a watch. Yeah. Really. Like, it's super easy to get through, too. Like it's only 3 seasons, so I rewatched all of it and all the new episodes of the 3rd season in a week. Just binged it. It's great. Like, it's great. Once I had the time to settle down and really get invested in the characters, I loved it. So there's 2 episodes left. There's a couple weeks for you guys out there to get caught up and watch, but it's awesome. It's a great show.
What's David's mental state as of right now?
Not good, John. Not good.
Yeah, although, it never is.
Yeah, I love that character, and it makes me interested to read the comics for Legion because I feel like the show, to my understanding, deviated completely from the comics and is doing like it's almost its own like run.
Very cool,
but worth a watch, especially for you. And the spoiler that you told me a couple years ago didn't really matter.
Well, I'm glad. Yeah, that doesn't hang over my head anymore.
No, not anymore. you are absolved.
Okay, yeah. I figured they wouldn't dive into that while the films were still being released. So,
well, all I'll say is that there's a specific episode that lays it all out on the line with that spoiler, and it's one of the best things I've ever watched on television.
Cool. Sounds great.
Yeah, so that's all for this episode of Radiovania. Thank you guys all very much for listening. If, as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns that you want us to talk about on the show, reach out to us at radiovaniashow@gmail.com or tweet at us at Radiovania on Twitter and then Radiovania Show on Insta. and then all the Radiovania.com for all the episodes that you want to listen to, and blah 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 blah. We got it everywhere. The next episode might be. Is there anything big coming out soon that we need to cover? Not really.
The rest of the big stuff's gonna be in the fall.
Okay.
Fall and going into winter. I mean, the next thing that we will probably have to discuss on the next show will be the D23 coverage with whatever comes out from there.
Sure. And Galaxy's Edge, when you go to that.
I'm going there in November.
Yeah, so we'll have that episode.
November going into December is going to be nuts because we'll have a ton of video games to talk about.
Yes.
A lot of Disney Plus stuff to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, and then anticipation for The Rise of Skywalker.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right, John.
Pleasure to be back.
Yes, and we will be back soon. See you guys.
Bye.